Hey everyone, welcome to another week here on Ludicrous Feed. Welcome to the Evie show. Today is a Thursday, believe it or not, Thursday night. We are streaming live 21st of March 2024. So good of you to join us. Yes, normally not a Thursday night that we broadcast live, but yeah, life gets busy and Wednesday was busy for me as well. So glad that you could join us tonight on a very special day. Yeah, lots to chat about as always in the EV world. Plenty of news to discuss and a huge show coming up. But without further ado, let's welcome our regular guest as always. We have Riz from Carloop. Hello, Riz. How are we this evening?
Hey Tom, going well. As we sort of touched on, not the usual background, but I had to turn the brightness on my chandeliers in Toorak East a bit down today just for the show. So looking forward to this one. It's going to be exciting. We always say there's so much to talk about, but there really is tonight.
Yeah, and you've locked the Spectre, right? Just behind that door of yours? Yeah.
Yeah. It's actually, we've got one of those garages. It's hydraulically lifted.
Okay.
So then it just, takes everything down. It's all underground.
Oh, it's a stacker, right? You got the Spectre, Porsche Taycan, what else? Kia EV9.
It's all there. I'm just waiting for my Taycan Turbo GT to arrive. So
Okay.
yeah, I've ordered one in that very awesome Carloop purple. So it should be arriving in the coming months.
Yeah, nice. Bags first go on the passenger seat.
We'll make it happen.
That's right. Let's say hello to our sponsors as always this evening. So thank you very much to Carloop, of course. That's where you go for data in Australia, and also to Koba Car Insurance as well. About to launch their EV only insurance product. And Riz, we will talk about Carloop's very special EV Summit Day very shortly. But I want to quickly just say hello to our regular viewers as always. We've got H2 Rider from the Gold Coast. Hello there. Hello Jason from the North Coast of New South Wales. Hello Mark from Melbourne. Yeah, today is not Wednesday, it's Thursday, believe it or not, but here we are. We've got Terry from Dubbo, hello, and hello Aaron as well from a cooler Sydney, welcome. And who else have we got here? SWS from New Beith, Queensland, hello there, and hello Gene, nice to see you. And so hot, 26 degrees. Well, I mean, it's been a bit cooler today in Sydney, so maybe the weather has turned. I think it's the autumnal equinox today, I think. So I think we're finally heading into winter, maybe. We'll see what the weather's like in the next few weeks. And hello, Scott. Yes, Scott says hello from a very cool autumn Sydney. Yes, got that today. Hello, Sensei. Yes, running a bit late today we are. So that's all right. Thanks for joining us anyway. Thanks for bearing with us. And yes, had a very scrumptious dinner. Thank you for asking. Who else have we got? We've got Wayne from Chile Toowoomba. Oh, Chile and Toowoomba. How about that in Queensland? Nice. Okay. And Kangaroo Island TV. Hello, Stan. Watching from Kangaroo Island, of course. Hello, Peter. Watching from Canberra at this moment. It's sitting week in Parliament. And yes, morning Uber in the Tesla is popular, I'm sure. Awesome. 259,000 kilometers. Amazing. Well done, Peter. Good work. Rob's watching from Victoria Surf Coast. Hello. And we've got Grandpa Barbecuer Game Cat. Evening all. Newbie EV owner tuning in. Welcome. So yes, thank you so much, everyone. Nice of you to join us. We'll get to some more welcomes in a second. We've got, hello, Andrew. Nice of you to join us from Bathurst. And, Paul's watching from Portugal tonight, Riz. Nice. Lots of Teslas there. Hey, thank you for joining us. Awesome. Okay, well, let's touch on our first article tonight, Riz, and that's, of course, your big event last week, the EV Summit, which we had been talking about on the show. How did it go?
Yeah, it went really well. Tom and the viewers, thank you so much for all your support. Just knowing that we could get councils out there. I mean, we were originally expecting about 30 people, and that was sort of my target. And we got over 100 in person and about 50 joining online around Australia, which was some of our listeners and viewers. Chris Wood and a couple of others were tuning in from wherever they're working. So really good in terms of the insights that were shared and some of the challenges and opportunities councils in the broader industry has. As we can see, we'll see in some of the photos, we had quite a few manufacturers very happily involved. I was very, very pleased with the turnout.
Yeah, nice. Obviously, the Ioniq 5 there looking good. What have we got? We've got the new Kona, of course. Yeah, people got to see that car. Very good value, of course.
It's very sort of, I mean, these are the sort of cars the councils are looking for, right? They're sort of the entry level type of EVs. They want to replace their fleet eventually with fully electric cars. So getting a chance, I mean, I would have loved an Ioniq 5N, but I specifically asked Hyundai not to bring one, because it's an awesome car on the track. Tom, you got to experience it, but yeah, it was really good to see. We had Tesla there. They were really,
Mm.
really helpful. Awesome reps there showcasing the Model 3 and the Y. And yeah, just Polestar, a whole lot of other OEMs really interested in what general fleets and EV uptake looks like for local governments.
Yeah, beautiful photos, Riz, and congratulations too. What a fantastic turnout. So good to see so many OEMs supporting your event. It looks like both online and in person as well. So yeah, well done to you and Richard and the Carloop team. Fantastic. I mean, Tesla rarely turns out to anything really. So to get Tesla there is just phenomenal effort by you guys.
Oh, thanks, Tom. I think it was a concerted effort, and we tried to make sure that like EVSC team was involved. They
Mm,
showcased some of their chargers. We had grid operators. I think we've had James from Eon Charge on the show before talking about
mm.
installing DC chargers. He gave a presentation. They have installed over 75 DC chargers across Australia.
Wow.
um and it's pretty impressive, a lot of that stuff. And we had, oh, there he is in the photo as
Yeah.
well, sharing some of the insights with others. And yeah, really, really good turnout in terms of what are the challenges and how can we work together to solve them as we decarbonize our local fleets in the councils, but more broadly, more chargers in the ground for everyday EV drivers like us.
Yeah, not just cars, but of course business, kind of industry, kind of vehicles too. You're right, Riz. It's not perfect at the moment. We all know that. We all appreciate that. Let's be honest. But good to see, industry working together with fleets to, yeah, get things going, right? So yeah, well done again, Riz, to you and the team. That's great. Good
Thanks,
stuff.
Tom. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, thanks everyone for all your support too. So let's say hello to some more viewers at the moment. So we've got Enzo for the first time in months. Thanks for joining us, watching
Ooh,
live in Sydney. It was 8 here in Georgetown this morning. Georgetown, Penang in Malaysia. That's the only Georgetown I know. But yeah, welcome. Ken Yobi says, hello everyone. Brought a second EV into the world on Tuesday. Congratulations. BYD Seal Premium, great. Ocean
ooh.
Blue, Atlantic Ray, very nice. Took 5 months, but really worth the wait. I'm hearing that if you order black interior, it's a bit of a long wait at the moment, Riz. They're really becoming quite popular, these seals.
Oh, it's. I wouldn't be surprised if it overtakes the Atto next month. I mean, in
Ooh.
March, because it is such an impressive car in terms of the value. Especially, I mean, we'll touch on this a bit later. Especially after the amazing update that has finally come in for owners like yourself, Tom.
Oh, such an exciting week, Riz. I mean, it's pretty geeky to get excited over a software update, but honestly, we use the word game changer a lot, but it really was a game changer, this update. Like all the complaints we had about ADAS not performing well and too many beeps and boops, and they've definitely tuned the ADAS to be more aware of Australian roads, or at least the roads around where I drive, because it's a lot more gentle now, a lot more subdued. So anyway, we'll touch on that very shortly, but yeah, very much so. If you haven't had the update yet, look out for it. It'll change your seal for sure. What else have we got? Yeah, lots of news about the orange superchargers. We'll touch on that too, Andrew. So stay tuned. We've got Kangaroo Island says, "Well done, Riz and Carloop." I 100% agree.
Thanks, Taree.
Yeah, and yep. And we've got Andrew saying the Seal update not available to all Seal owners yet. Okay, so maybe it's like Tesla where they just release it a bit at a time just to make sure there's no huge bugs rather than getting the whole fleet wiped out with an issue. So I think that's smart. Yeah, Scott saying Northwest Sydney now seeing 3 seals locally, so more to come. Yeah, I'm seeing more as well on the roads here in my part of the world. And yes, Tassie Evie saying saw a seal walking to work from where I park my car. Ionic, white one as well. Reminded me of yours, Tom. Yeah, okay, cool. Yes, I do have a white seal. Yeah, cool. All right, well, let's touch on this now, Riz. So this is one of your Carloop charts here. So EV uptake trends from 2021 to 2024. Nice to see that slope heading in the right direction there.
170,000 battery electric vehicles on our roads now. I think it will get over 200,000 pretty quickly before this year ends. So yeah, everyone wants them. And we'll probably touch on this a bit later in the show, but there's some really, really good special offers starting to come out of some manufacturers now. So EVs are becoming cheaper,
Yeah.
even without the subsidies.
Yeah, that's right. Are you, is there any concern as to a bit of a plateau up here, or is that just because of the delayed Model 3 deliveries?
Oh, as in terms of the way the
Yeah, the
chart
slope
is
sort
put.
of, the slope is
Yeah,
sort
I
of,
I think it's just to do with the fact that it's still the second month, so the data
hmm.
only goes till February. But
All
as we
right.
sort of start to get towards 2 or 3 more data points, and then you'll start to see that slope going up. So
Yeah, makes sense. Absolutely. Yeah, 170,000 EVs in Australia. That's unbelievable. And you can see here, guys, the last few years, that's where the majority of the uptake has occurred, and it's only going to go in one direction. So hopefully, Riz will hit 10% for the month of March. So we'll get those VFAX data very soon.
interesting to see. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Nick, for your $10 pledge. Great article on Cars Guide the last week regarding Cybertruck coming to Australia eventually. Hopefully, they're right. Okay. Yep. A lot's been said about whether they comply or the Cybertruck complies with ADRs here in Australia. I think I'm seeing Sydney EV, our good friend Rob's. He's been looking out for that, and I don't think there's anything that can stop the Cybertruck coming in terms of ADRs. So yeah, that's interesting.
Another quick point there. It seems that Sandy Munro is starting to tear down a Cybertruck, so
Mm.
I'm sure that will be part of the analysis. For anyone else that's interested, maybe getting your question answered by Sandy, I think he's got a some sort of $50 Cybertruck lookalike bottle opener that he's selling to raise funds so he can pull this apart better. So go support what Sandy's doing and just see if he can get this right-hand drive question answered for us as they start to tear the truck down further.
Yeah, that's right. Sandy merch. Maybe we should start doing our own merch here too, right? Some live stream merch. What can we sell? I don't know. Chandeliers?
That's right. I'll keep taking one bit off a chandelier at a time and autograph it and start to send it out.
People could say this is the true piece of the Riz chandelier I've got in my hand, which I paid $50,000 for. All right, cool. All right, yeah. So speaking of over-the-air software updates, so yes, we were graced this week. Some of the BYD Seal owners were graced with our first over-the-air software update. Some of you I know have been getting a sort of unofficial update through the service centers because a lot of you are coming up to your 3-month service because the Seal was only delivered, I think, mid-December 2023. So my 3-month service is coming up in a couple of weeks, which of course I will document on the channel. But if you've not watched my video yet, give it a quick view because I do run through pretty much every feature that's listed on this over-the-air update release notes. Now, it's not, just take a step back, it's not quite like Tesla where it's nicely laid out each time. You've pretty much got to take a photo of it when the update occurs because I can't find these notes again once the version has been updated. So not like Tesla where you can go through the release notes. So maybe that's something that's going to be in the future with BYD where you can run through the previous release notes. But the major thing about the update is that the ADAS has been improved, has been fine-tuned for our roads finally. It's not trying to kill me anymore. It's not trying to drive me off the road to the other side. It's not as noisy. And also the boops and beeps, all the alerts are all very much under control now. So it's behaving itself. And other small things like daytime running lights can be switched off as well, so you can sit in your car quietly. You've got the App Store now as well. So all these quality of life improvements, Riz, which a lot of Tesla owners like us have been used to over the years, and good to see BYD Seal owners getting it too now.
I think so. I think it's one of the very few vehicle brands that are offering over their updates. And, it's one of the things we often speak about on the EV show by Ludicrous Feed around why is it important, right? Ultimately, if you buy a car and you spend a lot of money on it, you want to make sure that it's sort of improving with time, and some of the features that, may not be as user friendly or, sort of distract you from when you're driving, like all those beeps, they can be tuned down from the comfort of your home. You don't have to take the car back to a car dealer or an experience center to make it all work and for them to physically update the car. So one thing that was quite interesting is vehicle version can be upgraded to V1.1 for free. Now, is that free because it's on the go, or is it because there may be paid updates coming?
Yeah, that was subject to a lot of conjecture this week online, Riz. For free. I mean, I'm glad it's free because they did promise it was going to be free, but Does it mean free for life? I don't know. I mean, this is a question we need to ask EV Direct and Eagers, I guess, moving forward. We know we've got 2 years of data, 2 gigabytes per month for the next 2 years. Now, I did download this update literally on the road as I was driving. So it was using cell data, but it didn't count towards my allocation for the month. So, maybe that's what free means, where it's not included in your monthly allocation or monthly provision. So I don't know. I guess we'll find out. The upgrade said it would take 72 minutes, and it was roundabout correct. I sort of did it. I updated it when I got home, and then I just walked away and did something else. And I checked again in 2 hours' time. It was already done. So one thing too, if you're going to update this on your Seal, make sure you turn the car off and start it again, because for some reason you need to do that. Otherwise, stuff doesn't work. So just a public service announcement right there. Yeah, so it was like, this is great. This is kind of why I bought the Seal, because I knew that they promised they would be providing over-the-air updates. I'd seen Atto 3 owners getting updates over the last 12 months, so I was fairly confident that BYD would do the same for the Seal, which is good. Other manufacturers, Riz, I think some Hyundai owners might be feeling a bit jilted because they were promised updates. They're still not really getting them.
I also heard with Hyundai owners that Ioniq 5 and Ioniq 6 owners can take their cars back to get some sort of an update.
Yes.
And there were 3,000 and something vehicles that were eligible. So I guess the over-the-air updates mean over the dealership's airs, like you have to be at the dealership for it to happen. But look, I guess this is one thing that I think we can be assured with some of these EV-only Chinese manufacturers, is that they are putting a lot of effort into what the industry calls connected cars. So they're connected to the internet. You can receive things. Or software-defined vehicles that, software can make those changes, can control most things in a car, whether it's the way it drives or the way the ADAS functions and stuff. So worth keeping an eye out on what those vehicles are as you sort of, if you're thinking about buying one, ask your friends. If they get over-the-air updates, you're sort of in safe hands. The things will improve.
Yeah, for sure. It was instantaneously night and day between my previous Seal and then like this updated Seal, and it's amazing that all this stuff can be just improved by software. I know that you and I, Riz, have had a Tesla for a while. We know this can be improved. Like one pedal driving one day could be present in the Seal, where it's just a software update overnight. So, if we give enough feedback to BYD, who knows, right? But what you were specifically talking about, Riz, the Hyundai update. So Nirav had been writing an article about this. Now, I'm trying to get my head around what this means, but the ICCU in the Hyundais, which is, I think it stands for, the Integrated Charging Control Units. So this basically converts the energy from the batteries to the vehicle, and also the 12-volt small battery as well. Apparently, there's been an issue where cars have been stalling because that's been faulting. So I don't know the exact logistics of it, but it looks like Hyundai, Kia, Genesis, all the eGMP cars will be allowed to have software updates and possibly hardware replacement as well to help solve this issue. So if you own one of these vehicles, any Hyundai EV, any Kia EV, any Genesis EV, I would suggest talking to your dealer or service center and get that checked out pretty soon, because I think it's going to affect a lot of people. So yeah, good to have Nirav chasing that for us for the Hyundai, Kia, and Genesis brands. All right, well, let's take some more comments real quick. Thanks, everyone, for your engagement so far. Fantastic. I might answer some of these. So, yeah, Stan was asking us about a duet, me and you, Riz, on the new karaoke app. Yeah, I'm going to get that mic soon. So, yeah, next time Riz is in Sydney, maybe we'll do a little duet for you. No promises on the quality, but we'll see. Simon's talking about TV ads for Toyota. Like, okay, we'll get to that very shortly because, yeah. Obviously, we have a bone to pick with Toyota at this stage. But yes, the new BZ, whatever, 4 has been spotted in Sydney. So, interesting. Yeah, Gene says free is lost in translation. Just means there's no cost. Not that it will cost in the future. So, yeah, free could mean spiritually free. Like, we're all, I don't know. May not be a monetary free thing. Andrew says, hey, Tom, how did you get the Waze on the Seal desktop? Well, it's through Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. It's not a native app at the moment. Apparently, Apparition says all Atto 3 updates have already said free in the past. Okay, so it's not a new thing. Very cool. Cool. Keep those comments coming. Wayne's saying I might be biased, but I think the Seal is the best looking car around for the average person. I mean, that's very subjective, but it's certainly, for the price you're paying, it's a pretty darn good looking car. Yeah. Thank you. When are you supposed to service your Tesla Model Y? Never. No, there's no schedule. Just book in the app whenever you need to. There's no schedule for warranty for Tesla. Okay, cool. Oh, hello, Kevin. Nice to see you from Lakeland, Florida. Joining us as always. Yep, good point, Stan. Yes, Near Ave is halfway to Kangaroo Island on a road trip. Cool. So are we going to see some sort of collab with you guys when Near Ave gets there? That'd be good. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, let's keep going with the articles. So we've got talked about the BYD update. Oh yes, Riz, we should talk about this. So Riz and I were fortunate enough during the week, in fact yesterday, to attend the Chery Omoda E5 launch or preview at the Machine Hall Precinct in central Sydney. Riz, I think it was quite a good event actually. What do you think?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I mean, they were launching the E5 or showcasing it anyway, but also had an ICE version of the car, so, sort of a top spec variant they also announced. Yeah, I thought they did a good job in trying to, showcase these vehicles, and it's good that we have more options on the way.
That's right. Another low-cost Chinese car, which is great. It'll help other cars drive their prices down too. So, I mean, they didn't announce the price just yet. They're saying second half 2024. But two vehicles were mentioned quite a bit by the PR people. So the MG4 and the BYD Atto 3. And in terms of size, they are actually very similar to those vehicles. So it probably sits somewhere in between, both in terms of size and probably pricing as well. So BYD Atto 3 is about, 51K with the extended range.
Yeah.
And the MG4 is about 40 to 47, depending which variant you get. So I reckon Riz probably somewhere in that mid to high 40s. Would that be reasonable?
Yeah, I'd say around 46 to 48 grand is what they'll be aiming with this car. Apparently, it's coming in two variants. There is a spare wheel, as you noted, as well, Tom, and not many vehicles have that. On the inside, it looked quite similar. The screen layout is similar to the Kona Electric or the Ioniq 5 in the way they've done it. But yeah, I thought it's quite good. This was a pre-production model, so it was in right-hand drive, but it's not something that is set in stone when it comes to sort of the specs that we'll be getting. But at least it gives us an idea of what they've got in the market.
I think the Omoda is already in some parts of Southeast Asia that are right-hand drive. I think Malaysia's already got one. So I think this is probably one of the variants from Southeast Asia that they brought over to have a look. Look, I'll be honest, it's not super inspiring. Like, I'm not a huge fan of SUVs anyway, but it's nothing that striking. I mean, it's great to have another version of an SUV that's EV. That's good choice. But, the interior is okay. It's not too wacky, not like some other EVs that we know of. It's pretty standard. Two infotainment screens, which is great. Pretty high def, actually. And if they've got Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, then happy days. Like, you'll be able to port all your settings across. Front-wheel drive, 61 kilowatt hour battery, 430 kilometers of range. That's pretty standard these days. Fast enough, 7 seconds. 9.9 kilowatt AC charging. 80 kilowatt DC is a worry, though. I think that could be a bit slow for any sort of potential road trips. But yeah, look, I think when they said variants too, I think there won't be a powertrain difference between the two variants. It'll just be a cosmetic and trim difference, which is fine. And I did ask the PR guys, like, how many of the press there were there to see either this car, the EV, or the GT, which is the ICE car. And they told me, yeah, the majority of the press there wanted to see this car. So Riz, EVs are still attracting a lot of attention in the media world.
Yeah, they're starting to come out, at least, the mainstream media is starting to pay a bit more attention now that they're sort of saying, hey, that's new models mean a little bit of excitement. So they either jump on board or continue to be EV haters, and eventually they'll catch up onto them. But yeah, I think it's good to see that the general mainstream sort of automotive media is also starting to pay attention to more and more EVs. Funnily enough, they aren't asking the right questions. We were sort of there and we heard what was being asked, and a lot of it was, it sounded like it's coming from, people that don't really understand EVs fully, which is okay. It will take them time as well, but they're giving it a crack, and they were there to see this car, which is also good to see.
Yeah, that's right. More eyeballs on their media, which is fine. Yeah, they've got their own viewers, which I guess if you show someone often enough something, they might get interested. So good to see. Cool. Let's move on with some comments from the audience. So we've got how does it compare in size to Model Y? I think Riz Model Y is bigger than this car.
It
This
is
is
bigger.
this is a smaller crossover SUV.
It's bigger, but one thing we did note, they showcased its coefficient of drag, and it was like 0.283 or something. And I think the Model Y is 0.23. So although it's a bigger car, it has a lower coefficient of drag, which means, more efficient. So we'll see when we get to drive this what the efficiency looks like. But it is based on a nice platform. So, I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, I mean, as more EV SUVs come out, now we've got other EV SUVs on the market. Like the Europeans have got, the French have got, the Peugeot E2008. That's a smaller crossover. Then you've got the Renault's got one too, the Megane E-Tech. So, I guess we need to find something to differentiate them all. Otherwise, they all start to look the same and drive the same. So, yeah, time to get creative with some of these brands. So, yeah, exciting times.
So for anyone that's thinking, no, it's not the Japanese hotted up cars with neon lights under them. This is just for show. This does not come as an option on
No,
the Omoda E5.
no,
They
this
do
is
change
just
color though.
they do. They were pretty cool actually. Yeah, I think someone asked where was this event. So this was at the Machine Hall Precinct on Clarence Street in Sydney. Pretty cool place. I think there was the launch of the Spectre was actually here as well. Seeing one of the videos previously. Not that we're obsessed with the Spectre or anything, but that's where the launch occurred as well at this place. Pretty cool place for a launch. Speaking of cool cars coming out of China, Riz, the MG Cyberster was spotted in North Sydney, this week. And of course, we were tagged as well, of course, on X, and this is your article in The Driven.
Yeah, this is interesting. I think Jordan picked this one up on and shared it on the Electric Vehicles for Australia Facebook group with the Tesla. This is Tesla's sort of dash cam feature. And then I think we had new sightings earlier today. There they are, up close.
Thanks to Roland from Zapped AU, one of our friends of the channel. So MG Cyberster spotted again in Sydney doing the rounds. Yeah, much clearer photo for us. Thanks so much. Credit to Michael T from Facebook as well. And did a retro search. It's a heavy one, but great to see a convertible EV. So wow, almost a 2-ton convertible two-door coupe. That's amazing, really, or cabriolet, really, because it's topless or roofless. And I think Arm from X also translated it using some sort of app, and on the back of the car, it's got some Chinese writing. It translates roughly to engineering development vehicle. So good translation there. Fair enough. Riz, I'm getting sort of Miata or MX-5 kind of vibes. Would you be fair to say this?
Yeah, it is. I'm not sure what it would be priced at, but 100 and if it's around 100 grand, it's twice the money of a Mazda Miata or MX-5. But look, I think it's good. We will have options. A little bit like I don't know, many people remember. Apparently, they're still making the BMW Z4. And there's not many in this sort of segment anymore, vehicles that are out there. So yeah, if it does come out, there's a lot of people that are very interested in this car. So it'd be good to see.
It's not a bad looking vehicle either, really. I mean, for an EV, like I know some people don't like the look of EVs, but I mean, this could pass as an ICE car any day of the week, honestly. Nice cosmetics up the front, still very aerodynamic. And yeah, well, I mean, I can't wait to get into this car to check it out. I know Elliot from Fully Charged has been on the show, obviously. He's driven this as well in China. So yeah, it should be good. And, we're on good terms with the MG Riz, so we should hopefully get a press car when it comes out later this year.
I think, what do you think about the tail lights there, the indicators?
Oh, yeah. Like arrow-like, right?
Arrows.
You know where you're going.
Yeah, that's right. It is quite unique. To be honest, I don't understand why they've sort of covered all the badging and stuff. Like anyone that I'm sure even Google Lens, if you take a photo of that, it will say that's an MG Cyberster or whatever it is. But it's yeah, interesting to see that they're going into that sort of out of their way to try and cover this up. But it is pretty cool, really good to see on our streets. Can't be too far away. I think it's running the dual motor version is running a similar drivetrain to the MG4 X-Power.
Oh, yep.
So yeah, I mean MG4 X-Power is a quick car. Like it's a fun car. If this is anywhere close to that, it's cool. And one thing I'm excited about in this car is its interior in terms of the infotainment. X-Power is a good car, but the infotainment system
Oh,
is from the MGZS, and it's not great. I hope there's an iteration to that, but this I think has a slightly different infotainment system on the inside.
yeah, that's the one thing about the MG4. It's like I love the MG4. It's such a good value car, but I was actually, I was quite critical with the with my, next review after we did our road trip, Riz. I just don't like the MG4 interior. It's too basic. It's almost like they didn't put enough thought into it, and the infotainment system is a bit laggy too. So the MG4 if it had a better system, better interior, it would be such a good car. So yeah, let's see what MG can do with this with the Cyberster. I've not seen it in person up close, but yeah, I'm just seeing a comment here from who was it? Someone said it. A kangaroo is saying the tail lights are supposed to be a nod to the Union Jack. Okay, going back to the British history of the MG. Yep, that's a good point. And yeah, Jason saying Lightning McQueen. Ka-chow, yeah, I like it. Yeah. It's not quite a Dodge, as we talked about last week, but that's okay. Yeah, SWS is saying the MG could be his midlife crisis or her midlife crisis vehicle. Very, very well could be. Almost an affordable one, 100K is not terrible for midlife crisis. And yes, Matt's agreeing with us. It's a swap for the Mazda MX-5. Yeah, I think it looks very similar, to be honest. Yep, not a bad thing. Yeah, cool. Now, Philip's asking Riz, lots of EVs in North Sydney. Saw the Red Highland parked outside his office. Was that you, Riz, with your Red Highland?
No, not yet. I had to cancel my order. I think I'll wait for the performance or Ludicrous. Being a big supporter of Ludicrous Feed, I've got to go Ludicrous, and I think that's that's what I'll be waiting for. But they do look really good. Lots of EVs, particularly in so many parts of New South Wales, Victoria, Queensland. It's ramping up pretty quickly, and I think we'll try and maybe have a look at some of those top LGAs in New South Wales and other parts of the country in the coming weeks, just to get a good understanding of what's out there. And yeah, EVs are definitely around, and especially parts like North Sydney, there'd be plenty there.
Yeah, Riz, I think we need to do a LGA of origin, like state of origin, but LGAs, just to see who's got the most EVs, right? You'd be surprised. Like, you'd think it'd be in the sort of more affluent ones, but as we saw last week, some of the outer suburbs are, holding their own with EV uptake.
That's what it's looking like. And I think the other part is like, unfortunately, if we do an LGA top 10 in Australia, it would probably be Brisbane that will have, because the city of Brisbane is so big in terms of its mass or land area.
This is true.
And the Gold Coast and Sunshine Coast and the rest. But if you sort of break it down into more reasonable sized LGAs like they are in the rest of the country, there'd be quite a few in New South Wales and a couple in Victoria as well.
You'd have to do like per capita or I don't know, per sort of more standardized measure rather than absolute numbers, right?
Statistical,
So that could be quite interesting. A project for Carloop, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, Richard Laxton, if you're watching, we'll make it happen.
That's right. I've actually lived in Brisbane, and there are some benefits to having a large LGA, right? Critical mass, you can do things that you can't do in smaller LGAs, so not a bad thing, right? All right, so we better talk about this, Riz. This elephant in the room. This Toyota BZ4X that's been spotted in Sydney. Now, this is this week's Toyota Watch, so let's address it first. Okay, so first of all, is this a test car, or is this the actual vehicle that's two-tone like this? Like, what is this?
I think it is an actual vehicle. The question is, why is a Victorian plated vehicle in New South Wales, in terms of is it being tested? But then I dug a bit deeper into the numbers, and in last month's sales, I completely missed that Toyota even had an EV. So you scroll down the list and you're like, you don't even know it's there. They had 208 sales.
What?
Now, 208 sales of BZ4X in February.
No.
Yeah, apparently. Yes.
No way. Who's buying them?
I don't know. Well, I don't know whether these are going to dealers. Like Toyota has like nearly 200 dealers Australia wide. So I
Mm.
don't know if one went to each dealer and if this was one of those vehicles. Um, and Victorian, let's just say, VicRoads or the transport registration system is not as good as New South Wales one where we saw before when Roland shared the MG Cyberster. You put the
Mm.
rego in, it tells you roughly what it is. Victorian system, if it's not a consumer car, it doesn't tell you anything. It just says like unknown record. So we can see it's
Mm.
registered there, but I couldn't find any details on it. So it made me believe that either the system had an update and it was like a very recent registration, or alternative is it's registered by a company like Toyota for whatever purposes, and they don't show those type of vehicles. They don't show engineering test vehicles or those type of registrations. So yeah, who knows?
Now, Riz, I I don't often say this, but this is ugly. This thing is so ugly. I just cannot believe how ugly it is. It's like, it's not just the coloring, it's the styling. Like, everything about this car screams, we are not interested in EVs. It's like they produced it so they can go, see, this is not selling. Look how ugly this car is. Who wants to buy this vehicle? I'm sorry, I'm just going to say it because you can disagree with me if you like, but I just do not like the look of this car. Like, I don't care what the specs are. Like, I don't want to drive this car. I'm
And,
sorry.
and what's so strange about the way Toyota is doing things? The new Prius looks really, really cool. Like in the US, the new Prius looks like that car was designed to sell.
Mm.
And here we have their EV, as you say, Tom. It's like they're not interested. It's
No.
uh,
I mean, it's like, I mean, it's Toyota's having its split personality moment, right? On one hand, you go to a Toyota dealership, they're going to say to you, "Oh yeah, hybrid's the future, definitely. Yeah, EVs, what a waste of time." What about that one? Oh yeah, EVs are kind of the future. This is good too. I mean, how do they reconcile that difference? I'm sure they're confused as we are. Surely,
and
come on.
just quickly on that photo, that front sort of headlights, that orange strip they've got, that's usually in a US requirement to have that.
Mm.
Because here we can have clear sort of reflectors and other things. Unless this is part of the styling, obviously I haven't paid that much attention to all the intricacies around Toyota's latest designs around their EVs because they haven't done too much into it.
Mm.
But yeah, it's strange. Unlike the Subaru Solterra, which is what this vehicle is based on,
Yes.
the Subaru Solterra, as most nearly all Subarus, are all-wheel drives, and it's only all-wheel drive. This has a front-wheel drive and an all-wheel drive.
Mm.
Why you would buy a front-wheel drive when the Subaru has all-wheel drive in both variants? I'm not
Mm.
sure. But yeah, I don't know.
At least,
No,
at least,
no. Hmm.
at least the Subaru, like the design language of the Subaru, is in keeping with the Subaru theme, right? It's rugged, I get it. I don't mind the Subaru. It looks okay, but I don't know, like this car. I mean, it's got the BEV on the side. Like, why do you need that? That's like so unnecessary. Like, we get it. It's an EV. You don't need to sort of have that BEV badging there. That's fine. I don't think Toyota's going to talk to me anyway. Someone said they're not going to send me a Christmas card. That's fine. I don't need a Christmas card from Toyota because I'm going to tell like it is. I just find it difficult to support Toyota at this stage, given what they've done to the EV industry, and then they bring this stuff out. So yeah, you're hearing from me. This is my real thoughts today.
Well, Tom, clearly you're not having what a feeling,
There's no
and
feeling here. I'm sorry.
no feelings at all.
No hard feelings. Okay.
No,
Don't take it personally, Toyota. I'm just
that's
telling you. That's what most people are thinking right now, in the EV world anyway. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'd be curious to get people's thoughts. I mean, Toyota's, it's been a great company for so many years. A lot of people still support the brand. They buy Toyotas. They've made great cars over the years. I don't know. Have you spoken to any Toyota aficionados or people who own Toyotas? What do they think about this?
no. That like what I did here before the BZ4X surfaced on Australian roads was you talk to everyday people. They're like, oh, you drive EVs. I'm just waiting for Toyota to take all the kinks out of that everyone else has with their EVs and release a perfect EV. That's why they're taking their time. I think it's
Mm.
that same philosophy that they say, well, Samsung's going to do the innovation, but Apple will just take what it takes, and then a couple of years later bring something that's slightly improved, but it will be an iteration of what Samsung did years ago.
Yeah.
It's to a certain degree where things are going, but there is people that genuinely believe that Toyota is going to bring the best EV out there.
Yeah, I think you're right. I've heard that too from Toyota people. All right. Well, look, I don't want Toyota to fail. I just want them to get on board because, yeah, I don't know. They think it's going to be a hybrid future. Like, there's a place for it, but I think EVs are still going to be here to stay in the coming years. So, all right, we'll see. Apparently these cars have got the BYD blade battery too, Riz. I don't know if that's true or not, but I've looked it up, and yeah, there's some sources saying it's equipped with the BYD blade battery. So at least that's something good about this car.
Yeah, well, we'll find out in terms of. I don't know how that partnership in China is going, because Toyota or BYD was basically making the BZ3, which is like a Corolla sedan version that was launched last year, but not even sure. Like the BYD powertrain, basically BYD software, BYD engineered. Why stick a Toyota badge on it and sort of call it a Toyota type of thing? But in China, nearly 50% of all sales now are new energy vehicles, and majority of them are pure battery electric, which means what place has a brand like Toyota got? Not much.
Don't know, Riz. I'm confused. I don't know. Look, you just have to read the comments here on the live stream, what they think about Toyotas and this car right now. So yeah, if you're watching anyone about Toyota, from Toyota, just have a look at all the comments from all our regular viewers, what they think about your current EV. So you need to do better than this. I'm sorry. I'm just going to say it. Speaking of BYD, here's a article from Drive that the BYD Dolphin Sport. Now, Riz, we were at the launch at the Gold Coast last year for the Dolphin, and I think Luke Todd at the time, the CEO at the time of BYD Australia, was saying that, well, at least BYD Automotive or EV Direct was saying that they're going to bring out the performance Dolphin, which would probably compete with the MG4 X-Power. Now, it looks like, apparently, according to Drive, it's going to be shelved.
Yeah, it was interesting back in the day because, it created a bit of excitement that there was something very special coming, but we didn't see any performance upgrades. We didn't see, it just sort of said it was going to be roughly the same as sort of the mid-spec Dolphin, although it's going to have a lot of styling changes and some performance upgrades, but they didn't say what they were. And I think it was supposed to be here in January, or they said early 2024. So yeah, anyone that placed an order on it, they may know more, but I guess if it's not coming, it's not coming. Having said that, that looks like there's a market for Dolphin body kits. So
Yeah.
Ben from Cyber EV, if you're watching, I think this is where it's at. Hopefully they can sell more Dolphins, so there'll be a bigger demand for some body kits and other parts to modify the vehicles. But that looks cool though.
Does look good. It's a shame. Oh well. Yeah. You've still got the MG4 X-Power if you want a sporty hatch, or the Cupra if you want crappy software. Yeah, the other options on the market. Staying with BYD, we talked about Polestar last week, reducing the price of their cars. Now, we should be fair and mention other companies. So if you want an Atto 3, huge discount at the moment, $2,023 cash back on a 2023 BYD Atto 3. We had a look at the 2024 version coming out in Japan, Riz, last week, which looks better, nicer styling on the outside.
It does, but I don't think it's limited to 2023. I think if you were really interested and you walked into the experience center and said you're really, really keen, but you need a bit more to get your credit card out, I'm sure they'll do something special. So just worth asking. You can't go wrong. Might be more than $2,023.
Yeah, it is worth asking. I mean, I know BYD is doing this hybrid direct-to-consumer / dealership model, but hey, as Riz said, I think it's worth asking the question, right? You never know. They're trying to clear the stock, right? As far as I know, there's quite a few Atto 3s lying around at the moment. So yeah, might be a good chance to snag a good deal. Staying with BYD, so yeah, interesting news reported last week when initially 9 News reported that a BYD Atto 3 that was apparently charging at a Westfield in Liverpool in Sydney's southwest had exploded. Loud noise, boom, crashed into the glass at Maya, but redacted later to say that no, fake news. This car was not charging. Some teenager got into the driver's seat and then pushed the throttle or accelerator or whatever it was, reverse, and then it just crashed into the glass of the Maya behind it, into the cosmetics section. So I don't know, Riz. I kind of feel like, yeah, okay, so it's fake news. It's not charging. It's not an explosion, but why was it being able to be driven a display vehicle in a shopping center? That's so weird.
I don't know. That is the biggest question. Who had the keys?
Who had the
Like,
keys?
surely you can't move this vehicle without it. Yeah, it's just so.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
it must have been in the car. That's the only way I can think of it. It definitely wasn't plugged in because you can see very clearly. There's the charge port right there. There's nothing plugged in, so it's not charging.
Yeah.
So that's completely fake news. And TechAU, Jason from TechAU did a good piece on this on the fake news. So he sort of broke it all down. Said no, there's no way this is an explosion. So yeah, I don't know. Nine News. I think that's very disappointing. This kind of journalism where it's just misreported straight away. This has done a lot of damage. This initial headline. You can't take this stuff back.
Well, this is the thing exactly, and I think the reality is, if I don't think that we should really look at this in a positive way, but to a certain degree, it brings it to people's attention that there is like this is fake news, this is wrong.
Yep.
But at least people are now aware that there is electric cars like an Atto 3 that they may not have been aware of in the past. Not saying that this happens to all the cars. Most rational people know that they can go and look at these cars in person. And yeah, I think at least it gets people thinking that these vehicles are real. But at the same time, misreporting is never the right thing to do.
Yeah, that's right. No apology, nothing. Just misreporting for an hour or whatever. Damage done, unfortunately, but that's the way it is. If you want to see a car that actually exploded, this is a BYD Seal in Thailand that actually did explode. The car actually turned upside down from the LinkedIn post from Evie Firesafe. I'll just go through these pictures. So, there we go. The Seal's upside down, puncture in the battery pack, boom, thermal runaway. And hopefully this will never happen to anybody here, but you need quite a bit of trauma for a battery pack to explode like this. We've seen one on the highway, I think, in New South Wales late last year, 2023. But no EV has ever caught fire while charging. Well, no car EV. There's been smaller electric vehicles like micro-mobility scooters, things, but this is what happens when a battery pack catches fire, unfortunately. I think the driver got out, so it was all good. But yeah, quite a bit of force there, as you can see in these pictures. Yeah. I mean, look, if you want to know the truth about battery fires and their incidents, I think EV FireSafe is a great channel to follow. Whatever, they're good on LinkedIn. Emma Sutcliffe posts a lot of stuff, a lot of really factual content. She's a fire person herself, a firefighter herself. So yeah, that's where I go to get my news about EV fires. Cool. Let's keep pushing on. So, yes, speaking of seals, yes, they get damaged just like any other vehicle. They're just cars, and this is a written-off seal being sold on pickles, I think. So it needs some spare parts. I don't know how much this is going for. But pretty damaged apparently. So only driven 299 kilometers. That's not very far at all. Riz, I guess that's hitting mainstream media where EVs potentially could be written off quite early in the piece because they're not as modular as ICE cars might be.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like if you look at some of the photos around the damage that's done to this car, and obviously I'm not a crash investigator or specialist by any standard or a vehicle assessor after it's been in a crash, but it doesn't look like there's a lot of damage to the car. Like which part, unless there's structural shift. I mean, the BYD Seal has cell to body technology, which the battery pack itself forms part of the body and gives it structural integrity. I can't see from looking at the photos there where that's actually occurred. It looks fairly cosmetic sort of damage to me, but yeah, like that impact. I'm not sure how far it's pushed into it, but it looks like it's sort of at door level, not at the pack level. So yeah. I guess it's written off.
Yeah,
it's had that side impact.
it's more damage than we can see clearly. I just want to address this comment here from Hal. Aren't blade batteries puncture and thermal runaway proof? No, I saw Emma comment on LinkedIn that that they're not thermal runaway proof. LFP batteries still can get damaged. They just, I think there's a higher threshold for them to be damaged, but they can still, like, nothing is fireproof. Everything burns eventually. So yeah, so take that into account. They're safer, but not foolproof or fireproof as such. So good question though, good comment. Okay, so what have we got? More comments. Yep, let's move on just quickly now. Lots more to chat about. But having said that, though, there's a article in Car News China saying studies showing BYD Seal and Dolphin are two of the safest cars in the world. So it's good. Yeah, even gave comment to the MG5 getting a 0 rating in the Australian ANCAP test as well. I think that was quite recent. And if you think this is a questionable article from China, well, it's actually quoting our Compare the Market Australia content. So quoting our market, saying the BYD Seal and the Dolphin are the safest cars globally. So take of that what you will.
Well, clearly meerkats know.
That's right.
What's safe and what's not. They see these cars coming towards them, so all of a sudden they know, hey, that's a safe car right there.
I got to say that ad works on me. I quite like that little guy. So, I'm a simple man. Nice. Yeah, I've seen this one too, Jason. This was, I think, on Fully Charged. Robert Llewellyn talked about this. The BYD video smashing a car into a pole from both sides, then putting the battery pack into another car, then driving off. So there must be some weak points, right? It's not every smash is going to cause thermal runaway. So, I mean, there must be some weak points. Everything's got a weak point. I've got a weak point somewhere. I won't tell you what it is, but everyone's got a weakness. Just saying. Okay, so let's talk about, staying on repairs actually. So yeah, official Tesla body repair center opening soon in Sydney, in Alexandria.
That is awesome.
Yeah, it's good.
So this is the first one.
Yep. This is at the actually at the Tesla center, the showroom. I'm pretty sure around that area anyway, Alexandria on Burke Road. So yeah, in-house service repair center, which is good. Excellent. All right, cool. Good to know. And now, Riz, this is your favorite topic, I know. Rappers and their Cybertruck.
Look, basically, something's gone wrong here. I mean, not gone wrong. Something's gone on here because it seems that every week there's a couple of rappers that end up with this. Now, obviously, they're not spending money on the gold chains or diamond grills. So they're spending money on a Cybertruck.
Yeah.
Now, these are possibly the baggiest pants I've seen a rapper wear in a long time.
A long time, since the 90s.
And exactly. And obviously, he hasn't got any beef towards the truck, but he's just showing that in the ghetto, you can't be happy with whatever you've got. So if you've got a truck, it's bulletproof for a reason.
That's right.
So to all the haters out there, that's what rappers need. Once Elon said it, he's come out and said there's no preferential sort of, orders that get fulfilled before everyday consumers. So clearly their agents, as soon as they saw it at Unveil, placed orders for these cars or for the Cybertrucks, and they're starting to get them now. All the things, you've seen all those Snoop Dogg videos where the whole high riders, the Cybertruck suspension with all of that can do that, and it looks better than an Escalade. So rappers are going electric, so we all must do the same thing.
Yeah, boy. Is this going to be the new Caddy?
I think the Escalade, the new Escalade IQ, and there's another rapper.
Sway.
Yeah.
He's got a Cybertruck too.
And in this video, he specifically says, Elon Musk, you whatever you're doing for the world, it's working because he's got one.
Well, he's got the rappers, thumbs up, so must be doing something. All right. Well, I mean, yeah. Staying with the Cybertruck, here we go. Some sort of aftermarket things you can add to it. So Sparks Motors, creating a Cybertruck that looks something out of Mad Max. Yeah. Its element. Some red dirt.
SpaceX.
Yeah. Pretty rugged. Pretty rugged. That's the thing about Tesla vehicles. You can do stuff to it. You can add whatever you want. That's why there's so many third-party accessory like companies out there trying to flog their products because you can pull it apart, put stuff on, make it your own. Not a bad thing if that's your thing. I certainly
Well,
reviewed a lot in my time.
that's right, Tom. A lot of the stuff that you've done for the Model 3Y as well, like it's so interchangeable.
Mm. Yep. Very modular. Not a bad wrap, that one.
Very cool.
Yeah. Camo. Rapper's delight. Nice comment, Jason.
That was, yeah,
Yeah, Scotty agrees with you, Riz. Maybe they need it for the bulletproof features.
that's never
Very
know when
gangster.
you have to drive through the ghetto to make a music video.
That's right. Very gangster. Now staying with trucks, actually. Now this is interesting. This made a bit of news today, I think, or yesterday. So the Isuzu D-Max electric ute. Yes, confirmed for Australia, apparently.
Now, 2 weeks ago, when this whole FCAI thing was going on, and they said if this emission standards come through, we're leaving. Basically, that was Isuzu. 2 weeks later, they've got an electric truck. Hey,
Oh,
you're not stepping
yes.
back. We're coming. We've got an electric one coming.
Oh, well done on putting the dots together. Right, that's very interesting. Okay. Yeah, right. I'm curious to see how much this will sell for, to be honest. It's
It's
going to be
so
unveiled at the Bangkok Motor Show next week.
well,
Interesting.
you know what was unveiled last year, the year before, that Toyota Hilux electric concept thing.
Oh.
So there's a Toyota Hilux, for anyone that's interested, there's a Toyota Hilux electric ute. Let's call it that. It's a single cab. They had that at the Bangkok Auto Show last year, I think. And then it came down to Australia. To Toyota Australia bought it in, showcased it to a couple of different companies, and then put it back onto a boat back to Thailand. Apparently, it was developed, and worked on by Toyota in Thailand. Now, Isuzu has pretty close ties with a lot of the Japanese manufacturers, including Toyota.
Mm.
So yeah, and most utes are made in Thailand anyway that come into the Australian market. And
Oh.
Thailand government is very pro EVs, and
Mm.
Thailand is a big market for utes. If this happens and the government wants this to happen over there, we are likely to get these down here. The
Mm.
challenge is 2026. Any
Mm.
sooner, and are we going to see them in any reasonable numbers? The D-Max on its own, like a high spec D-Max, still is around 65 grand, 60, 65 grand. If these things come into the market at 70 grand, a lot of people will buy them.
Mm. Now, my only concern is that the maximum speed is 130 kilometers an hour or over. Now, if you ever
Mm.
seen a ute at about 3 o'clock in Sydney, yeah, that might be a limit for these people driving away from their job or wherever. Yeah, I mean, look, I'll be serious. 130 is fine, seriously, for most uses, I would have thought for a ute, right? Let's face it. But look, a 3.5 ton brake towing capacity, that's not bad. It's not bad payload.
Yeah, and just quickly, while we're talking about utes,
Mm.
there's a couple of new brands that are bringing utes into the market. At the moment, it's ICE only. JSC up in the top right there,
Oh,
they are
yes.
bringing they're bringing a ute into the market, and hopefully there's an electric one. They have electric options in overseas markets. And the other one is, I saw a billboard ad today. The Kia Ute is coming.
Oh, yes. I saw that. It's an ice ute, right?
It is an ICE.
Yeah.
So these are ICE products, but if they start to play in that space, and if the government rules change around penalizing ICE utes, and I'm sure there'd be a lot of demand for electric one of these. So the
Mm.
first step is get whatever product you can get into the market, and we know Kia and Hyundai can make electric vehicles. EGMP Ute wouldn't be such a bad thing.
No, that'd be phenomenal. Yeah. Dual cab EGMP ute. I think a lot of people go for that. All right, we'll keep an eye on the Isuzu's ute. Good to see at least there's some progress with that. Very good. Let's keep pushing on. A few more things to talk about tonight. So, a bit of a price drop as well for Polestar 3. Starting at lower price, there's also a talk of new variants as well. I think, what is it? Single motor long range, is it? Something like that. Or is it dual motor? Oh, sorry, dual motor variant, lower price. Okay. Yeah. I mean, look, the Polestar 3 is not a cheap vehicle, let's face it. So it's, yeah, I think they do need to do something about more of
So,
an entry level
so
like
with
price.
that 84 grand
Mm.
performance pack, that's in the US dollars. That's very close to a Model X or a Model X Plaid.
All right.
So
Mm.
we're approaching very, very expensive territory there. Um, but they've got a large battery pack, 111 kilowatt hours, reasonable charging. These, I believe, will be made in the US for the US market.
I see.
So yeah, interesting to see, but I guess yeah, we'll find out. As you can see, Tom, even in this Polestar photo, that orange
Mm.
strip on the side, it's a very US thing that
Mm.
it's a rule that they must have those sort of orange strips. Tesla also has orange lights, but I think for the Australian market, we're going to get them from China. I think first half of the year there's supposed to be a launch of some sort for the Polestar 3, and then Polestar 4 coming in second half.
Cool. Okay. Keep an eye out. Hopefully, we get a press car to try out as well here in Australia. Okay, let's move on to charging news. So we've got a whole host of Tesla superchargers opening or about to be opened. So this is one in Bowen, Queensland, which is, I think, Riz, this might be the most northern Tesla supercharger in Australia now.
That's it. 500 kilometers sort of north of Rockhampton, which only opened a couple of, I think, just before Christmas.
Mm. Yeah, it's a shame they're V3 and not V4 housing. So
Yeah,
could be an issue for cars that need that longer cable, like the right hand, port. A lot of the BYDs and EGMP cars have that too. I guess you've got this door here on the
yeah.
side, or you can't. No, you can't drive on the grass. There's a pole there.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see, but I think it's good that we have it. Now they've got to probably put something in Mackay,
Mm.
possibly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, looks cyclone proof according to Kangaroo. Hopefully it never gets tested, but it is in that part of the world. Um, Matt says interesting to see the one on the end for right hand port. Yeah, yeah. I suppose if you don't park all the way in, you can probably get access to it.
But
Yep.
it's also sort of a drive-in type of a setup as well. So possibly if
Mm.
you've got a trailer attached, you can drive into that with a Tesla, and your port is sort of on the left-hand side. So
Mm.
you can sort of use it for that purpose as well. Obviously, ideally, we want more drive-through stuff. So good bones up, and I think there's one being orange. I think is also ready to go.
Yep. Yep. Just about
Orange,
to
New
put that
South
up.
Wales.
There we go. Yep. This is keen on EVs. I think I just saw that account on the chat actually. So welcome. Yeah. About to be opened in Orange, New South Wales, in our Central West. So these are definitely V4 housing. Whether they're truly V4, probably not. I think the newer V4 housing ones are still V3 architecture. But I mean that's pretty fast already as it is.
Um, Quick note: this Tesla is the stencil there on the in the bay is proper Tesla, not sort of that's Tesla's iconic logo or their whole slogan. But I think the one in Bowen was hey,
Hello.
I think Keenan's also got the a picture of him charging.
That's correct. Yes. So let's put this on. So this was this account charging today. So yeah, the Tesla techs were allowing him to charge for the first time, which is great. So here we go. What an honor to be the first car to charge. And yes, the V4 cables are longer, as you can see. It actually curls around like that. So I wouldn't mind testing that if it's going to work on my Seal on a V4 cable, just to see whether it reaches around to the right hand side. Which, looking at this picture, it should do because it's got a longer cable. So curious to see, particularly if they put the stalls in the middle of the parking spot. So as you can see in this picture, right in the center. So you'd hope that cable can go both sides of the car. And also the Omoda with the charging port in the front, it wouldn't be an issue at all.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know, Riz, what do you think about charging ports in the front? Some people are saying it's a concern because you can get that easily damaged if there's a front on or something.
I guess it depends on where it's placed. You're right that if it is, then if the car is involved in a sort of that sort of collision, Who has it? Kona's have it. We've spoken about the Omoda.
MG4.
Yeah.
Sorry, MG ZS
ZS.
EV.
Yeah.
Yep, the first one and second one.
So.
I'll just show you some more pics of Keen on EV charging for the first time in Orange, and a good location too, near a shopping
Yeah.
centre, so facilities nearby. And that's the charge rate they got, so 43%, 40 minutes remaining, 80 kilowatts. Not super fast. Yeah, maybe they're just testing, I don't know. I wouldn't hang my hat too much on that info. But thanks for sharing that, Keen on EV. Thank you. So Ray's asking, was that a free of charge or paid? And Keen on EV said he advised V4 250 kilowatts upgradable to 350 kilowatts. Oh, okay. I mean, it's V4 housing, so yeah, just have to upgrade the power packs. Cool. Right, so sticking with Tesla superchargers, so Mildura in Victoria is also seeing 4 stalls almost ready to go as well. That's good. Mildura is kind of through the center, isn't it, Riz? Yep. So, excellent.
Popular town.
Yeah. And staying with Tesla once again. So this is Taree in the north of New South Wales. Good to see more chargers. I wonder how many stalls this will have.
How many cables are sticking out here?
Yeah, I know, right? There's
1,
at least
2, 3, 4 there. Yeah.
Oh, there's a few more down here, so I don't know. It could be 6. That's good. Yeah, nice. And okay, so back on Tesla, but not in a good way. So this is probably one of the worst examples of icing I've seen, actually, at the Bendigo Supercharger, which I've been to. Good location, great facilities nearby, but here's a truck trying to be smart. They've stuck the charging cable into the side of the vehicle too. There's a bit of a laugh. So not cool. Yard Art Landscaping. That's right. I'm going to name you. That's your phone number there. Thanks, Justin. 0438 856 398 www.yardartlandscaping.com.au. Be a lot of angry EV owners looking at this right now. It's public. Yeah, I don't know. Have you seen anything this bad, Riz, in your travels? It's pretty bad.
No, not recently. But I mean, there's this one photo that still sort of sticks out. I remember when the Runaway Bay Supercharger opened on the Gold Coast, and there was I think 2 Lamborghinis. You know, Gold Coast obviously has all the crypto millionaires, and basically drug dealers and crypto kings. They all have Lamborghinis up there, and they're parked there, and were being pretty funny about it. Like, that's where they're supposed to be. But this is still like covering half the stalls there. The good thing, I guess, is that you can park on the other side potentially, but still, it's not a good look.
Nah, it's not good. Do better, guys. Do better. Now, Riz, you shared with me this week the fly-through for Giga Berlin. This was pretty cool. I won't show the whole thing, but pretty amazing. I mean, it almost looks fake. I know it's not. It's a drone, but unbelievable fly-through. Cool. Yeah.
Unreal,
right? And the way the cars are put together from start to finish, pretty amazing. They've really got it down pat.
What's unique about this video is the first one. For anyone that's interested, they have a first one when Giga Berlin first opened up. They did one of these, and that was cool. This is longer, and it goes through the whole cycle. And the most unique part about this one is they actually go through. They're producing their own motors, the actual drive units, and it hasn't been seen before.
Wow.
And that it's one of the later processes, but they go through and they showcase all the robots producing the stators and the motors themselves that go into the drive units. Very, very cool. I think that's it's coming up.
I mean, you may not be a Tesla fan, but you got to surely appreciate the way they put these things together, the actual process of manufacturing. And
then they show the whole drive unit going into the back of a Model Y. It's fantastic. Like they're the drive units themselves.
Yeah. I mean, there's still some human hands there. There's some stuff you can't avoid. You need to put it together.
Very cool.
Pretty cool, yeah. So organized, so clean as well, right? Everything's pristine, almost like a lab, really.
I
Oh,
think
that's the silver, Quicksilver.
yeah, Quicksilver. Elon said before that they're learning a lot of lessons from the semiconductor industry in the way they manufacture stuff. So one of that is the cleanliness. The way this video ends is pretty cool.
Oh yeah, yeah. Through the arches there. It reminds me almost like a Japanese shrine with
Yeah.
the arches, the ones you see in Japan. Yeah, yeah, nice. Okay, a few more to get through. So EV now. EV is now starting to put a pre-authorization hold of $30 on your app when you charge it there. Charges. Thanks, Gaffer, for sharing this with us this week. I got this email as well. Now, Riz, do you remember when we took that MG4 trip to Canberra? We used the Ampol chargers, and there was a
Yeah.
hold on your credit card too when you charged.
Yeah, I
So,
remember that, and that
mm,
was one of the first times we'd come across this. But I wonder why. Like, is it to do with them saying that we're not fake people and we're not scammers? So I'm not
yeah,
sure.
no, I think you're right. I think someone said this week it's to do with that very issue, like fake cards being used or something to do with that. They just want to get the money first before like they charge for free or whatever. Like I don't know if is that much of an issue in the EV world. It's kind of strange.
I don't think so. Like, I remember the petrol industry used to do, like, that after hours, but you pay like $30 or you prepay to fill up, so you
Mm,
don't do a runner. But I don't know what's going on. That's maybe the financial scams are on the rise and they're
mm.
trying to prevent it.
Jason's saying the authorization doesn't occur if you use the RFID card on EV, only
Oh,
using the app. They told me. Okay,
okay.
okay. Will that pre-authorization apply multiple times if the charge keeps dropping out? Oh yeah, that's true. That's a pain in the butt if the handshake doesn't occur.
Hmm.
Yeah, good point. And the money does come back, I think, Riz. I think it took a couple of days, right? But the auth does come back if you charge less than $30. So cool. All right. Well, let's keep pushing on. Now we talked about Toyota and Subaru collaborating to form their own EV platform, and so Honda and Nissan are now doing the same thing, joining forces to take on the Chinese car makers. So
Like,
interesting.
they have Nissan, one of the pioneers with the Leaf. Like, come on, guys. You should be able to make compelling electric cars by now. And yeah, they haven't been able to, and they're going to stop production of the Leaf in the UK because they're waiting to produce a new version of that one. But yeah, the whole thing is a bit of a joke. I mean, Honda is, I fear, one of the companies that are going to end up in the electric vehicle graveyard by
Mm,
2030 because they're just so involved in the ice age with the engine technology. And they made some really, really high performance engines. They were supplying to the Formula One for a few years, but now, even if they join forces, and it's not the first time Honda has joined forces with another manufacturer to make EVs, they've just started to launch their Honda Prologue, I think, in the US, and that's based on the GM's partnership that they had. And it only lasted, I guess, one car, and that's it. After that, they've just released the car, and now they're not partnering anymore. So they've gone to partner with Nissan. Um, but I don't know what Nissan's going to get out of it, given they're the ones that have a bit of EV experience. So we'll see.
mm. Such a shame. You're right, Riz. I mean, Nissan Leaf was the first to market, literally, before even the Tesla Model S. Honda E was a very cute car. There was development, in the last 5 years. It just hasn't taken off, which I don't know. I mean, they're all clearly watching and waiting, the Japanese, so I don't know if they're going to catch up in time. Toyota, Honda, Nissan. Yeah, it's a shame. It's a real shame.
But you touched on this earlier in the show, Tom, around your Seal getting an over-the-air update. These guys are just collaborating now to do something to be able to make these cars. They haven't even gone into any sort of detail into the software component of it, where every Chinese manufacturer, we spoke about Xiaomi, the
Mm,
smartphone maker, they've just released an EV in a couple of months. And I'm just waiting to see some reviews off the back of it. Software, they'll have it all figured out.
Yep.
And this is what the Japanese companies are competing with, and I don't think they can. And by the
Mm.
time they do catch up, these guys will be years ahead.
Yeah, it's a shame. Like I don't mind the Hondas. They've made great cars over the years. You know, as you said, they supply the engines to Formula One, Red Bull. Well, this will be the last year, but yeah, it's a real shame. Yeah, still, maybe we should start a Honda watch now and a Nissan watch, along with our Toyota watch. Yeah, we'll see. Uh, where was this? Oh, we go. Gene's joke here. It's autumn for Nissan. The leaf has fallen.
Oh, no.
Nice, good one. Love it. Yeah, Jason, that's right. Apple gave up on their car. That's right. Whereas Xiaomi, I think 3 years, boom, the car's out. So pretty cool. Gaffer's saying these older OEMs like Nissan, Honda can catch up, but it'll take government bailout money to do it. Well, the Japanese will have to bail them out. Definitely. Yep. For sure. So back to Chinese. So Riz, we chatted about this when we were in Sydney this week. So yes, Xpeng spotted in Singapore, being launched second half 2024. So now I think Elliot owns an Xpeng, doesn't he? Or he did own an Xpeng for
He
a
did
while.
used to own, yeah.
Yeah.
He
Well,
was
this
one
is
of the
the
early adopters with the brand, and they've come a long way since. And I also heard on the grapevine that they're launching a more affordable brand later, I think later this year. So on top of them launching into right-hand drive markets like Singapore and other parts of Asia, which hopefully means us here in Australia as well.
mm,
I mean, they do look cool. That car reminds me a little bit of a Jaguar sort of I-Pace,
mm.
a little bit from the back and from the front. Yeah, it's hard to tell, but it's pretty unique and looks nice.
The shape's almost like a Mustang Mark E too. That's at the
Yeah.
back, that curve. So yeah, not a bad looking vehicle. Now Xpeng, where does Xpeng sit in the luxury status? It's not a Neo where it's upper end. It's kind of more mid spec, isn't it? Mid tier pricing.
Yeah, I think they're sort of probably a little bit above BYD in terms of, so if that car lands in Australia, I'd say it would be probably late 50s
Hmm.
as a starting price, which is, not bad for a fully sort of, these guys have been in Europe for a couple of years now. So they've learned all the things that the Europeans want out of their vehicles, which are quite nice in terms of all the ADAS stuff should be sorted out by the time they land in Singapore and other markets like ours.
Hmm.
So yeah, let's see what happens.
Yeah, look, I mean, if if Xpeng doesn't make any news about coming to Australia, I mean, Singapore's not far away. It's not a bad trip. Nice, place to go for a couple of days or to check this out. So yeah, we'll keep an eye out on it. Speaking of ADAS, at the Omoda launch, Riz, you remember they were saying that they're going to make sure it's tuned to Australian settings, the ADAS warnings and things. It's always a balance between safety and a good user experience for the driver. So hopefully more manufacturers will take note of that. Don't just put the safety warnings out there to comply with ANCAP 5-star. Make sure it's also useful as opposed to just switching it off. It's completely useless if it's switched off.
That was a very interesting comment because apparently there were a lot of complaints from early Chery models that didn't have, good enough ADAS, and apparently it was horrible according to some other journalists,
Mm.
or unusable. So that got me thinking, why is Tesla so different? Like,
Mm.
Tom, you've obviously seen that journey through the years, right? With your Model 3 performance and now your Model Y as well. How is Tesla able to get that part of it right
Mm.
where these other manufacturers can't? In terms of the vehicle gets here, I did you have many beeps and bings and whatever over the years with Tesla? I know we had phantom braking and we had
Mm.
some of those other challenges, but how can they get it right and every other manufacturer needs a proper local tune to, I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's a good point, Riz. I mean, it's the Tesla ecosystem's not perfect either. Like, I still do get phantom braking and beeps at certain points of my drive home from my workplace. It's not perfect. So, but it is more subdued. And like, for example, the traffic light, that's a traffic sign awareness. It doesn't beep at all. It just sort of, or gives you the option to turn it off so it flashes, right? So I don't mind if it's that option is there, as long as you can switch it off permanently or make sure it's just a flash rather than a full blown honk at you every time you go 1 kilometer an hour over the speed limit. So I think that's the kind of thing we do need to get manufacturers and OEMs to do, so it's a bit more gentle for users. I mean, phantom braking still does occur, unfortunately, on autopilot. Um, yeah, I mean, it's curious. Also, the Chery guys were saying that why is it that in China the ADAS settings work for them? I think he was trying to basically say in a nice way that the Chinese roads are actually better than our roads here in Australia, where there's a lot more variation, whereas they're a bit more standardized with their lane markings and so on. So yeah, I thought that was a curious comment. So anyway, horses for courses. You got to tune it for the market that you're in. All right, let's keep pushing on. A few more things to talk about. So this is the Zeekr 007 shared by one of our viewers, Care Bear, this week. So here it is. Sorry about the quality. Bit pixelated there, but yeah, Zeekr's been slated for Australia. It is coming. This is quite a nice looking vehicle.
Yeah.
Yeah, this will rival the BYD Seal, surely. Just looking at it from a design and quality point of view.
Yeah, it looks very premium.
Yeah. So that was just a short clip, but yeah, it looks good. Looks very nice. Very minimalistic as well, I must say. Not too many buttons, which some Tesla owners will like, of course. Yeah, sorry about the quality. It was better. I don't know why. It's dumbed down. So apologies. You get the idea anyway. If you want to watch it, go to my social accounts. I've posted it everywhere. All right, and also some more spotting. So this is the Volvo EX30 spotted in Belgium at one of the cycling events. Thank you, Johan. Currently in Belgium. Pretty cool looking vehicle.
That's a cool color.
Not bad, right?
It's like a green yellowish.
Yeah. And yeah, this is the XC40 EV doing some hard work, carrying all these bikes on its roof. That's pretty cool.
Wonder what the coefficient of drag of that car is.
Yeah, I wouldn't hold your breath. Yeah. Oh, just back on the Zeekr. Yes, really cool. Looks like a Lucid. That's good. That's what I was saying actually. It's got Lucid kind of vibes up the back. Yeah. Oh, Kangaroo Island saying, "Yep, Polestar system is great. It's not bad. It's tuned very well. It's a bit more subdued as well. The ADAS warnings. Yep, I agree. Much less beeps at MG4 compared to BYD. Well, that might be pre-update, but the new update, you'll be surprised. It's a lot better. Just watch my video. You see what I mean. Okay, a few more to get through. So Johan again just shared with me a Nio EL6 spotted in Belgium as well. Nice looking vehicle. Another SUV. So this is the premium type of brand Nio compared to like Xpeng. Cool. Thank you, Johan. And just quickly, yes. So this was quite interesting. I won't discuss too much, but issues in, I think, where is this, in Victoria somewhere, right?
Yeah,
Geelong?
it's on the other side. Yeah, Geelong Way.
Yeah.
On Queenscliff. Yeah.
Yeah. So residents are not happy that there's an EV charger in their heritage listed area car park. So yeah, no. So yeah, I don't think they're going to remove it. I think a vote was held and not carried. So not everyone's happy with EV chargers in their area for some reason. It spoils the aesthetic, Riz. And just finally, a couple more things. So just helping out the EV Council. They are doing a survey in conjunction with Sydney Uni, so I might leave a link to that in the video description later on. It's a long survey, just warning you, but there is a chance to win a home EV charger should you decide to enter. So help out the EV Council and Sydney Uni. And to finish off tonight, Shell to close 1,000 gas stations to focus on EV charging deployment, which is good to see. Great. No Shell chargers yet in Australia is that I can think of.
Yeah, so Shell's, most of their service stations are owned by Viva Energy. They've recently acquired OTR, which has started to roll some chargers out in South Australia. So I guess once this merger or whatever it is, there's a V8 outside. I think it's a C63 AMG. Probably stolen from one of the far east Turek suburbs. But yeah, I think once they've completed this merger, which should be done end of this month or early next month, we will get some clarity on what are they going to do. Because on PlugShare, for those of us that have a look regularly, a lot of those Shell petrol stations say there's an OTR charger coming. So what does that mean? So, I guess they have to make the move. BP Pulse is leading the way in Australia when it comes to petrol station companies installing chargers. AmCharge is slowly getting there. And then you've got, obviously, your the likes of your Shells. They haven't really got anything in the moment, but OTR has one site that's live in South Australia.
Okay. It's good to see. Interesting, keen on EVs. I just saw this comment here when I was charging at Orange today. So this is the account that was charging in Orange for the first time. Had quite a few people come up and tell me how much they hate EVs and would not have one if it was free. Oh, that's disappointing to hear. Interesting. What did you say to them? That's what I'm curious about.
Yes.
How did you tackle that interesting dilemma? Yeah. Yeah, look, it's not for everyone, isn't it? Like, people are going to say stuff based on ignorance, Riz, or misinformation.
There is fear, there's fear, and there's other things as well. And regional parts of Australia, some parts have really taken it up, and other parts there is a lot of unknown. And I'm sure once they start to see it's a regular thing, a lot of people have said a lot of things about many different technologies over a period of time that they wouldn't touch it if it was free. But sooner or later, someone in their family gets it, and then they get to experience it, and then they say, well, it's not that bad. It hasn't, my backside hasn't caught on fire when I'm in an EV, so maybe it's not as bad, but it will take a bit of time.
Yeah. I remember when smartphones first came out, people telling me, why do you need one of these? I'll never get one, or it's never going to take off. Like, look at us now. Like, nobody walks around without a smartphone. Well, not nobody, but a lot of people have smartphones. It's almost ubiquitous in our society. So I think EVs are traveling the same path at the moment. So we are privileged enough to witness it in our lifetime, I think, Riz. So I'm very fortunate from that point of view. Okay, everyone, that's great. We might finish up there, Riz. It's been a long one, but lots to chat about, of course. We just can't help ourselves. There's always so much news. So yeah, thank you once again, Riz from Carloop, for joining us this evening on a Thursday night.
No, that was awesome, Tom, and thanks to all our viewers that are sharing things from Australia and around the world as to what's going on. So keep taking those photos and videos and sharing them with us, because without you guys, it's very hard to put on a good show. So keep doing that.
Yeah, thanks, Riz. Well said. And yes, I agree. Keep tagging us on X and Threads and Facebook and whatever, LinkedIn. Happy to post all your spies and sightings across our beautiful big brown land of Australia and across the world too. We just like sharing the latest and greatest in EV technology, and we do what we can to bring out facts and counter those misarguments around, and keep Toyota honest, of course, as always. Sorry, Toyota, I can't help myself. We jest, but at the same time, you need to pick your game up. Sorry.
Bring compelling products, and it will be all good. And thanks to all our audience for really ensuring that keeping us honest and keeping the chat happening, and sort of sharing all the ideas as we continue to progress through this journey of getting more EVs on the road. And as the rappers now are getting their Cybertrucks as well, they often say, keen on EVs, haters gonna hate, but eventually they will be the one that will get an EV themselves.
That's right. Yep, get those EVs low, absolutely. Thanks, Riz. Thanks, everyone. This show wouldn't be anything without you guys. So take care and have a great night. We'll see you hopefully next Wednesday night. So have a good one. Thanks, Riz. Thanks, everyone. Bye now. Oop, wrong button.